Welcome to this Skill Builder session on serial dilutions. Serial dilutions are a useful technique for calculating the quantity of a solution that contains the same amount of substance as a different strength solution. For example, if a formula or procedure specifies a certain volume of a certain strength solution that you don't have in stock, this method will allow you to quickly calculate the equivalent volume of a stock solution. As such, this session will be of particular interest to biology, chemistry, and pharmacy students. In example 1, we're being asked what volume of a 10% solution contains the same amount of ingredient as 200 milliliters of a 25% solution. We can solve this as a serial dilution by using the expression C1 times V1 equals C2 times V2, where C1V1 is the concentration and volume of the specified solution, and C2V2 is the concentration and volume to be calculated. We can now substitute our values to give us 25% times 200 milliliters is equal to 10% times X milliliters, where X is the volume to be calculated. We can then cancel the percentages as they're a common factor to both sides. We can then rearrange for X, giving us 25 times 200 all over 10, and a final answer of 500 milliliters. In our next example, we can further simplify this method using the expression what you want over what you have. In this instance, a formula calls for 240 milliliters of a 5% solution. We need to calculate how much of an 80% solution to use in its place. Using what you want over what you have allows us to jump to the final stage of the preceding example. Hence, what you want, 240 milliliters of a 5% solution over what we have, an 80% solution. We can now solve this to give us a final answer of 15 milliliters. Now pause the video here and try calculating the solution to this question using what you want over what you have. Once you've finished, resume the video to check your answer. In our next example, we're being asked what volume of a 1 part in 500 solution contains the same amount of ingredient as 200 milliliters of a 6 milligrams per 5 milliliter solution. In order to calculate the solution to this question using what you want over what you've got, the first thing we're going to need to do is to convert the part strength and the amount strength to percentages. To convert our part strength to a percentage strength, we can use a proportional set. Hence, 1 over 500 equals X over 100. We can then cross multiply for X, giving us a value of 0.2%. We can now do the same for our amount strength. However, the first thing we need to take into account in converting this amount strength to a percentage strength is that we need to use corresponding units. In this example, therefore, we'll convert our milligrams into grams, which, expressed as a proportional set, will give us 0.006 grams per 5 milliliters is equal to X grams per 100 milliliters. Transposed for x, this gives us 0.12%. Now that we've calculated the percentage equivalence, we can substitute these into what you want over what you have. 0.12 times 200 all over 0.2, giving us a final answer of 120 millilitres. Now pause the video here and try calculating the solution to this question using what you want over what you have. Once you've finished, resume the video to check your answer. Thank you for watching this skill builder video on serial dilutions. If you'd like to follow up on any of the topics covered, please follow the QR code to book a one-to-one appointment with either a student learning advisor or, for support with more advanced topics, our Maths and Stats clinic.